Tools at Tea Time
On Tuesdays.
with Tim and Anna.
Wonderful. And we want to start today by congratulating Ugo. Do you want to talk to us about Ugo, Mr. Blessy?
Yes, I think a good number of you have gotten emails from Ugo in the past about tea time each week. And Ugo works at the museum, and he and his wife are celebrating the arrival of a new family member, their first baby, baby Laurel Adriana. So congratulations, Ugo. I should probably get a snapshot of everybody, give him a thumbs up or something. Give Ugo a thumbs up on this new arrival or whatever you want to give him. Okay, ready, set, picture taken.
All right. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you. And that is a cute name for a really cute baby. Uh,
Mhm.
Tim is also going to, oh, sorry. We're going to have our SCL moment right now. All right, here we go. And before I do that, I think I forgot to do something. So, yep, I did. So I'm going to make sure that the sound is just right for you guys. And here we go. Sit back and relax, and here we go.
Mhm.
All right, so that was our SEL moment. I hope you enjoyed that little 3 minutes. And a big reason for doing this is because 2020 has been a year of sacrifices for all of us, but especially for educators, right? There's so much that we had to deal with, and we do all of it because of what motivates us, which is our kids. And so I wanted you to remember that there's a break coming. So remember to take care of yourself because you are worth it. Thank you. All right, so now Tim is going to take us through our roadmap for today.
Thanks, Anna. That was a really nice start. Yeah, our Tea Time roadmap is our usual roadmap that you guys are used to following. And we're going to go ahead and start off with our important fan mail.
All right, so here we go with the fan mail. And who could he be today? Who could he be? Well, we have Mr. Rodney back. Go ahead,
The
Tim.
wise-cracking Rodney is back. As a follow-up, you remember earlier we had an episode about secondary students talk to us, and this is a follow-up from Rodney. Well, looks like you two are learning. First, you had a high schooler in your program talking about remote learning, and now it looks like you'll be including some elementary kids. Great, you guys are finally back on track. There is hope for you after all. And if in the spirit of the holidays, though, I must say that it's pretty nice to offer teachers tools at tea time every week. Please keep it going. Well, thanks, Rodney. We appreciate it.
Yeah, Rodney is just getting a little soft now with the holidays.
I know, a little
I don't know what he's
sentimental.
going to do next year. All right, so this brings us to our theme of the day, and we will finish out the year with Student Voices Part 2 Elementary. And we are going to be watching some itty bitty kids talk to us about remote learning. And we're also going to go through a little article, a summary of an article that I thought was so interesting. So before I start Student Voices Part 2, I just wanted to let you know that we asked the kids 3 questions. And you will see the parents coaching the kids, which is really cute. But we asked them, how does your teacher help you with remote learning? What is something you wish your teacher did differently with remote learning? And the last thing was, what is a wish you have for remote learning? And I want you to remember this last question because their answers are very telling. The other thing is that usually we do our breakout prompt at the very end. We will come back to our breakout prompt, but I wanted you to look at it now. So as you are listening to the kids and going through some of the feedback, you can be thinking about something that grabs your attention and why, so we can discuss it later during our breakout prompt. So here we go. Here are 5 cuties from 27J sharing their ideas on remote learning.
Hi, my name is Delilah and I'm in first grade. One thing my teacher does to help me learn is math and equations. One thing I wish my teacher did do is read us a book. And my one wish about online learning is that we can go to school and see our friends.
That girl knows how to accessorize.
Hi, my name is Ava and I'm in first grade. My teacher helps me in remote learning by in small reading groups when I'm stuck on a word. Go. One thing I wish that was different in remote learning is more library time. That we could just go back to school and not be at home again.
Hi, my name is Gus and I'm in third grade. What I like about remote learning is I get to see all my friends, and what I don't like about remote learning is how much hassle I have to do, and what I wish for remote learning is one thing at a time.
Hi, my name is Sophia and I'm in third grade. One thing that my teacher does that helps me during remote learning is when she does daily agendas. One thing I wish was different is we didn't have to get on and off so much. One wish I have for remote learning is I could see my classmates more often in person.
Hi, my name is Garrett, and I'm in 4th grade. What I like about remote learning is that I feel like I can have more options and I do things more freely. What I don't like about remote learning is like internet and lag really gets everyone. And one thing I wish for remote learning to be better is I wish there were no internet or lag.
All right, so you have some interesting perspectives there, and I thought it was interesting that we asked them, you know, what is one wish you have for remote learning, and a lot of them said that I could go back to school. So um, that is tough for these guys, but the last one always cracks me up too. He doesn't want like internet lag. Out of all things that you could think of, that's what he doesn't like. So all right, so I have shared an article that I thought was so interesting in our resource folder. So if you have time and you can go in there and look, the article also has a bunch of other links to some actual remedies. Maybe you want to call a remedy, but for these issues that kids have. So I thought the article was really interesting. But they talked to a bunch of kids, K-12, and there are 7 things that they summarized from talking to a bunch of kids. The number one thing is lack of structure can be very demotivating for kids. If you think of a regular school day, they get up, they put their clothes on, they get ready, they go to school, they have lunch, they have snack, they have recess, and all of those times are their compartments of time. But when you're in school, unless the teacher is giving them a structure, the time is pretty unstructured, especially the asynchronous time. So a lot of kids find that very demotivating because they're like, I can work on that later. And there are so many distractions, that come in the way of learning. So lack of structure can be very demotivating.
Hey,
However,
Anna, on that note too, I think that there's a lot of that of app envy out there, like, oh, this other teacher is using Flipgrid and I'm not using Flipgrid. I need to start using it. And what they show is that kids actually, if you try out new things on them every week and there's not like a routine, they actually see you as less credible. They feel like you don't know what you're doing and that you're experimenting on them. That the teachers that have like a routine, they trust more, is what the research shows, interestingly.
yeah, no,
Sorry to interrupt.
no, please jump in and help enlighten us. Um, the second thing is goes kind of counteractive to the first one, but it does help a lot of kids to learn at their own pace. So if the kid is motivated to start with, remote learning is really great because they can organize themselves and do things. They don't have to wait for the whole class to finish something. They can get things done. And then it opens time for hobbies or different things they want to pursue at home. So it's not all bad, but this only works for a certain kind of kid, not for all kids. Number 3 is kids really struggle with slow communication between students and teachers. So if you imagine in the classroom where a student can raise his or her hand and get almost immediate, hopefully immediate communication, that does not happen so much when you're online. And the kids that they talked to in this article, a lot of them said, sometimes the only way to get a hold of my teacher is through email. And it's really hard to get a hold of that teacher, or I have to wait until the next day. So having office hours, being available to kids, really, it does help with that connection. And to clarify, a lot of times we think we're clear, but we're not. And giving kids an opportunity to ask questions really helps. Number 4, For some kids, it's really hard to define boundaries between school and home. And they will be working, and they might be working all the way into the evening. And kids really need to have those boundaries. Um, and sometimes the parents can help with that, but teachers can also help define those boundaries for kids. Sometimes you have to say, we're going to turn off the screens and we're done, right? And now this is home time. Number 5, a lot of kids feel that their workload has increased. And Tim has a tidbit about that. Do you want to talk to us about working memory, Tim?
Yeah, the thing is that if you talk to students, they feel like the amount of work they're getting is overwhelming. And if you talk to teachers, they feel like they're not accomplishing half of what they were accomplishing when they were face to face. And it's not just a perception thing, that we all have a limited amount of working memory, and generally the younger the learner, the less they have. So when you're having to like open multiple windows and also filter out distractions and all these things, it's quite literally exhausting to the brain, that the brain uses up an extraordinary amount of energy compared to the body, and that when it's doing 50 things or attending to 50 tasks, it just wears out. And there's a lot of interesting research about looking at yourself all day. There's no other time that people have ever stood and looked at themselves all day, and that has a certain amount of energy that goes out of it. So it's interesting.
Yes, I thought that was interesting too. Um, And going to number 5, some students don't have access to reliable technology. So even though we share technology with kids, there has been times where schools open up and they they do a drive-by for technology. A lot of them don't have reliable technology. I know our district provides internet hubs for families that don't have internet, but even then, sometimes they really have a hard time connecting. Sometimes their devices don't connect, and sometimes just technology doesn't work, and they don't know how to go about getting those problems solved. So not having access to reliable technology is a real frustration for kids in remote learning. And the last one is, well, we know this one. And this picture is actually kids trying to do PE on the computer. And students miss their extracurricular activities. They miss choir. They miss their debate team. They miss hanging out with friends in the cafeteria or in the hallway, or just being able to hang out with their teachers and really not necessarily talk about school, but just, being humans together. That is a big one that kids miss a lot. So this is the article, and like I said, the link to the article is shared in our folder. So that brings us to our magical hour of community breakouts. So think about all of the things that we talked about, all of the things that you saw the little kids talk about, and we are going to have you guys share if one thing in particular grabbed your attention. If you are in room number 1 when I share this, room number 1, please stay with us, and we will discuss that here so that the camera can capture our conversation. All right. So did any one of the things that we talked about grabs your attention for any particular reason?
I noticed that they liked a lot of the things that maybe provided structure or provided community within the school. Particularly, I was thinking about that reading, right? The first couple kids where I want my teacher to read me a book, or I want to go to library for reading time. And that having been an elementary teacher, like that is a time of community and a marking point within the day. So that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, that is true. And I do a lot of recordings of readings for our kids because I miss going into the classroom and reading to them. So I'll record myself and I'll send it to them. And it's just not the same. It's you can't like do impromptu things or ask them a question right there. And it is a lot of it is community and going back and forth, and it's not the same. They know who I am and they know I like to read, but that interaction is very different.
Anna, tell them about when you got the dog in one of your recorded videos briefly and how the effect that had. I thought that was interesting.
Oh yeah, the first video I made a video about our PBIS. We do rocks for our PBIS, so respect and responsibility, ownership, blah blah blah. And usually I go into I bring the kids out. I don't go into the classroom. I bring the kids out and I do a grade level rocks time with them. So I'm like, well, I have to send them a link of my rocks time, and talk about behavior with them. And then I said, I'm just going to have my dog be there with me. And I had him over and he's sitting and he's very fluffy and he's licking my face. And oh my goodness. And that was when we're still at school. So then I'm doing bus duty and the kids are like, oh, I saw your video, Miss Marlott. I saw your rocks video. And I said, which one do you remember? And they're like, the one with the dog. And they could tell me everything about it. It was ownership, which is the hardest one to explain, and they were able to tell me why. And that's when he licked your face. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So now every video I have, my dog has to make some kind of appearance. Now, on the other hand, we have created some holiday stories for our families. So the teachers read their favorite holiday story by their Christmas tree, blah, blah, blah. And wouldn't you know, more than half of them have their dogs with them. So I think it caught on, that's something the kids really enjoy. And it was really cute because some of them are wearing the antlers and some of them are trying to take them off. And so it was fun.
I think it makes us human to them, right? Like we're
Right.
just people at school, but when they see us in their home or they see us with our pets or with our kids, they see us as people beyond just somebody at school.
That's true.
Yeah. I noticed the one girl in your video mentioned that whole thing that I wish I could get feedback from my teacher faster. I wish I could, hear what my teacher thinks about what I'm doing. And I think that's just a really interesting struggle. I just think a lot of teachers are going asynchronous, and I think it's more like just making those one-on-one contacts throughout the day so that every kid feels like somebody's on the other end, on the receiving end. I don't know. There's no easy solution to that.
There's no easy solution. I know one of our teachers, and probably more, but this one in particular, she turns her Google Meets at 8 o'clock and she turns it off at 4:30. And she just does her work in front of it. So then if the kids have any questions, they can pop in and pop out. But that is it's a big sacrifice, of time for her. And she said it works. So
That's good. Yeah.
what do you think, Tracy? Any ideas about the different things we talked about?
Well, I noticed since I teach high school that some of the same concerns, the same wants and the same issues that come up. I really feel for the kids about the feedback thing, definitely, because I've had kids say that. And so we have our classes at certain times, and I leave my meeting, we're doing WebEx, I leave it open the entire time, even though I'll tell kids, okay, if you need to exit the meeting to save bandwidth and that whole other technology piece, I'll be here. But it's hard to get kids to come in because I do office hours as well. And like, so I had office hours yesterday, for example, and I had nobody show up. And I don't know if they forget about it or if they, what's going on.
Yeah, one teacher from DPS found out accidentally, like he was calling them, he was doing office hours, nobody was showing up, and he gave everybody a Google phone number or something, and he texted a student, and the next thing you know, the student fired back a text right away. And then he said, well, can you make contact with this other student? I haven't heard from them, and let them know. And the next thing you know, that student was texting, and that the students were totally willing to text, even though they wouldn't call him on the Google phone, and they wouldn't come on for office hours face-to-face. But he just went with it, and before long, he was texting a lot of students. So yeah.
That's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I guess it's like Anna following the lead. Okay, if the dog worked, I'll put the dog in every video,
Right.
Yeah.
The texting works, sure, I'll do that. We'll text everything.
Were you going to share, Trina?
Yeah, I was going to say sorry, my name's Trina. I know it says Jason. It's because I used somebody else's link to get in. But a lot of my teachers at the middle level, I think it's that maybe that apprehension of asking questions and while they'll do it in person, right? They don't want to do it on camera. And so sometimes what they'll do is during their synchronous session, they'll have an additional meet open, and then kids go there to that different meet to ask their question, and then they come back and work. And that has worked really, really well for a lot of our teachers and students, and that might be an idea that might work for high school.
That's interesting. That's a great idea, actually.
So I assume that those are open in two different windows, like the regular classes in one window. How does the teacher know to switch over to the window where kids are asking questions, I wonder?
Well, so they have them both open at the same time.
Oh, they can kind of see them pop in?
And they'll post it like, meet me we have a code for ours. We're the Royals. And so it's Royals and the teacher's last name. And so the teacher will create, like, if I was going to do it, let's pretend I am Jason, Royals Camora 2. And they'll say, okay, meet me over in Royals Camora 2, and I can help you with that. And then, they mute the class one so nobody can hear. And it just creates almost like a private conference.
Yeah, like them coming up to your desk. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
a
really,
great idea.
yeah.
That is really neat. I don't think I can do that with WebEx though. I think we can only have one meeting open at a time, but that's an interesting idea.
Oh, it looks like our friends are back.
Yeah. Welcome back, everybody.
Yes, welcome back. I hope your conversation was as good as ours over here. We learned all kinds of things. And we've reached the end, my friends, the end of our episode and the end of the episodes for the year. We have placed the article, and we have all of our episodes resources in the link that you see on this slide. And the recording will also be archived in our museum website at dmns.org.
And we do appreciate everybody being here. We know it's close to the holiday. I know Lisa's in her car running errands or picking people up. Thank you for whatever way you could get here, and we hope that you find this to be somewhat inspiring to you. We are on a 2-week break, so this is the last show for the 2020. We'll be gone for the next 2 weeks, and then we'll be back on January the 5th. And we are quite excited about 2021. We have a big lineup coming. If Anna can flip to the next slide. A couple of the highlights of who we have coming. I don't know if any of you work with Paige Keeley and her probes. She's a nationally known author who's written a book series called Uncovering Student Ideas in Science. A lot of teachers are huge fans of these, and she's been doing this work about how to use them in an online environment. So spread the word to anybody that you think is interested in student preconceptions about things and how to uncover those. She'll be here on January the 19th, and we have John Almarode, who's a nationally known expert on the science of learning and the brain. He is more fun than a barrel of monkeys as a presenter too. And so we hope we'll see you on February 23rd for John Almarode.
That's great. I'm so excited about these two people. I'm a total groupie of Paige Keeley, so I'm so excited.
And I see Caitlin Elliott, and she's going to be coming along, I think, in March. We're going to be getting you guys on now, too, because this is where we get all our best ideas. I'm still mulling over one. Also, if you're interested in diving a little bit deeper, we have workshops for K-12 teachers that'll be going on in January. They'll be virtual through the museum on January 9th and February the 6th, 3-hour workshops on a Saturday morning. If you want to dive into like how to solve some of those problems that Anna was mentioning in this episode, we've learned, the one thing I have is more time than you guys to really dive into what is working for teachers and what are the experts. We talk to a lot of teachers, we talk to a lot of experts, and we'd love to have you join us, share your best ideas on January 9th and February 6th. The cost is $85. We can get you a certificate of hours for relicensure if you're interested in that. It's on our site at dmns.org.
Awesome. And if you had fun, please tell your friends and let us know what topics might be helpful to you. And until not next week, but next year, enjoy your break, and we'll see you in 2021. Woo!
Happy holidays. Take care of yourselves. Happy holidays.
Yes, take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Yeah. You have been a gift all year. Thank you.
Yes, we appreciate you.